Imagine a system so vast, so intricate, that it silently governs nearly every aspect of your life, from the food you eat to the roof over your head, from the job you hold to the money you save. This system touches everything, and yet, most people don't even know it exists. This is not a dystopian novel. This is the story of money itself and a secret history that no one wants you to know. Money is something we all use, something we all depend on. But what if everything you think you know about it, its value, its origin, its purpose is only half the story? What if the real truth is far more unsettling, revealing centuries of hidden power, manipulation, and invisible hands shaping the lives of billions? To understand this, we need to go back to the very origins of money, not as coins in your pocket, not as numbers in your bank account, but as an idea. Thousands of years ago, long before banks, long before central governments, in the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, the first money appeared. It was not gold or silver. It was debt. Clay tablets were used to record obligations. Farmers owed grain to temples. Merchants owed silver to traders. Priests kept meticulous accounts of who owed what and who had repaid what. The earliest money was not tangible. It was trust, and whoever controlled the record of that trust controlled society itself. Those who could manipulate the system of debt could shape entire economies. And this principle remains true today, even if it is hidden behind layers of banks, digital ledgers, and government policy. As civilizations advanced, money became physical. Gold and silver coins replaced clay tablets. Kings and emperors stamped their faces on coins to signify authority, but beneath this shiny surface, the same principle endured. Control money, and you control power. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, banks emerged not merely as secure places to store wealth, but as institutions capable of creating it. The Medici family of Florence, one of the most powerful banking dynasties, discovered a simple yet revolutionary truth. By lending more money than they actually held, they could expand wealth. This was the birth of fractional reserve banking. The ability to create money from nothing would transform the world. Economy set the stage for centuries of financial manipulation. This system, mathematically elegant but morally ambiguous, allowed banks to profit enormously. And as banks grew, so did their influence over governments. The early financiers of Europe realized a simple equation: control credit, control the kingdom. And by the 18th and 19th centuries, central banks had begun to consolidate this power, creating what many historians now describe as the blueprint for modern financial control. But here is the hidden truth that rarely makes it into textbooks. Money is built on debt. Virtually every currency today exists because someone owes someone else. Governments borrow to fund wars. Businesses borrow to expand. And individuals borrow to live beyond their means. Every debt generates profit for the creditor, creating an incentive system that favors accumulation of wealth at the top. And this brings us to the pattern that repeats across history, from the tulip mania of 1637 to the South Sea bubble of 1720, from the Great Depression to the 2008 financial crisis. The same cycle emerges. Credit is expanded, speculation grows unchecked. Debt accumulates faster than the economy can sustain, and then collapse. Those at the top often profit, while the rest suffer. Take the Great Depression as an example. Banks extended credit recklessly, debt soared, and when the bubble burst, fortunes vanished overnight. Governments intervened, creating central banks with unprecedented power to manage currency and control monetary policy. But central banking is not a curate, is a management tool. It smooths cycles, but it cannot erase the fundamental dynamics of debt, leverage, and human behavior. In the 20th century, central banking power became global. The Federal Reserve in the United States, the Bank of England, the European Central Bank. These institutions wield immense influence, yet, even with their oversight, crises continued. The 1970s oil shock, the Latin American debt crisis of the 1980s, the 1997 Asian financial crisis, and the 2008 global meltdown. The same mechanisms repeat, only the scale grows. Today, global debt exceeds $300 trillion, more than 3 times the size of the world economy. The U.S. alone carries over $35 trillion in debt. Japan's government debt is over 250% of its GDP, and central banks continue to print money, injecting liquidity into systems that are already stretched thin. Meanwhile, Inequality reaches levels that would have shocked even the wealthiest emperors of history. Yet, understanding this history offers insight and power. Patterns emerge. When debt spirals, crises are inevitable. When money is created from nothing, the few who control it profit, while the many are exposed to risk, and every time governments bail out banks, they reinforce a system that benefits the top tier at the expense of the majority. Let's explore how these cycles are not only historical, but entirely modern. Consider the 2008 financial crisis. Mortgage-backed securities turned everyday home loans into complex financial instruments. Banks and hedge funds leveraged these instruments, creating a fragile web of risk. When defaults rose, the system teetered on collapse. Governments intervened, injecting trillions into failing banks. The wealthy recovered almost immediately, while ordinary people lost homes, jobs, and savings. The lessons of Mesopotamia, Florence, and the Great Depression repeated themselves almost exactly, only faster, more complex, and with digital consequences. Even today, central banks manipulate interest rates. Governments run deficit spending, and money creation continues at a scale never seen before. Digital currencies, high-frequency trading, and global credit derivatives accelerate these cycles, making them more opaque and harder to understand. Yet, the underlying principle is the same. Debt creates power, power creates leverage, and leverage shapes the world. The human stories behind this history are staggering. Families wiped out by hyperinflation in Weimar Germany, farmers crushed by predatory loans in colonial India, and citizens across the world who suddenly lost savings overnight due to currency collapses. All are reminders that money is more than numbers. It is a mechanism of control, sometimes subtle, sometimes devastatingly direct. So, what are the lessons from this secret history? First, money is not neutral. It is a social technology, designed to manage trust, power, and leverage. Understanding this allows you to see through the illusions of wealth and scarcity, and to recognize the forces shaping your financial reality. Second, debt drives the system. From ancient clay tablets to modern digital currencies, debt is the backbone of global finance. Knowing how it works and how it can be manipulated reveals why crises are inevitable and why they always favor the creditor. Third, history repeats itself. The same mechanisms that caused collapses centuries ago, speculation, over-leverage, and centralization of control, are at play today. Often on a global scale, awareness of these patterns is your first line of defense against being blindsided by the next financial shock. And finally, consider this. The story of money is still being written. Cryptocurrencies, digital banking, central bank digital currencies, and rising sovereign debt suggest that the next chapter may be even more dramatic. Those who understand the patterns have the potential not just to survive, but to thrive, while others remain at the mercy of invisible forces. As you go about your day, making transactions, investing, or paying bills, remember this. Money is not just a tool. It is a living, evolving system of power, trust, and control. And the more you understand it, the less you are at its mercy. If you found this exploration valuable, and you want to dive deeper into the hidden forces shaping our economy and the lives of millions, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us for the next chapter of this financial story. Stay curious, stay informed, and question everything you think you know about money, because the truth is far stranger and far more powerful than the stories we've been told.